I missed yesterday.
Use the microphone. Nobody, trust me, nobody can hear you. Should we close the doors? Let's close the doors. Scooch over a little bit.
It only works for Cory.
Put your mouth closer to it.
Yeah. I'm eating
You have to turn it on. I don't know what to tell you.
I know, right?
That's really weird. Say something. Is it something about your voice?
Yeah, it's probably too high of a register.
It doesn't register electronically?
Okay. Is that one for you? Yeah, but like, you know, it's too high. Okay. Okay, just, yeah? Okay. Matt, what do you think? Is this mic on? No. Okay.
I can hear you.
Well, that's because I have my Professor Opera Singer voice on.
Yeah.
But we need the mic for the folks who are joining us via live stream and YouTube. And the song you're singing, right? Yeah.
Are they working on it or are you using mine to work on it?
On the mics, we would love some help with the mics, please. You can see that it's not working.
Is it wireless? Excuse me.
Nope.
Come on. That's right. Okay. Welcome, folks. Do we need more chairs in the back, or are you guys just enjoying standing? Are you doing okay? Cool. All right.
Say something funny.
Do you have a go-to joke, Jen?
I need to teach you my wide mouth frog joke.
Okay, let's do shout outs, and then maybe at some point they'll be on the mic.
At some point, the shout. Yay, Cory and other guy.
Thank you to AV helpers.
Guys.
All right. Thanks you guys so much for being here. What a fun night. Yay! All right. I am so thankful
Thank
to
you.
The Guild for letting us jump in with this programming. Okay. Does that sound? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
this is awesome.
Okay, we're all gonna have to get used to it, but it's gonna be okay.
Who's the gentleman who saved the day?
Yay!
Oh, it's one of them, and there's the other one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
What's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, KJ.
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 Yay, KJ.
KJ with True Farms.
Thank you.
We're out of Rochester.
Yay! Thank you for coming.
Manufacturing.
Thank you for coming.
Great. Thanks. Glad you're here. Okay, sweet. So I'm so happy to welcome you to this panel tonight, and I'm so happy to meet a couple of members of the Accelerator who I have never met in person. Because one of the things about the Accelerator, and indeed my law practice before it, is that I'm usually helping people on Zoom and Google Meet, right? So shout out to Matt. Nice to meet you in person, Matt. Glad that you're here. And shout out to many other members of the Accelerator who are here. Dana, glad that you're here. Bob, glad that you're here. Alicia, glad that you're here. Awesome. So we have had such a successful first cohort of the North Star Cannabis Accelerator program. And so this launch party is to celebrate their successes. We've seen people move with what I describe as thoughtful urgency towards launch, right? So not careening down the hill, okay? But making sure that every week we are focusing on what's our next right step so that we can actually reach that finish line and that we can help each other do that together. So I'm super excited that tonight is the launch party because I'm also announcing that we're opening more spots in the Accelerator. And so I'm inviting people to apply for those spots who are working towards adult use licenses to join us in the Accelerator and let us help you continue to move forward with thoughtful urgency. So with that, one of the pieces that I'm so proud that we, I'm sorry, what, Dana?
You can bring mine up if you want.
Oh, thanks, Dana. I appreciate that. It is. Okay, so Dana has actually had a big win, which Carol Moss, Nicole's boss, and I were lucky to help him with. That OCM thought that Dana should be excluded from the market, and it was their error. But we had to work very hard to write them a very long legal document explaining to them why their analysis had been flawed, and ultimately won the day. And so I'm so happy that you're back here.
I would have been done. So they're great. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So, yes. We all have different obstacles that we are dealing with as we go through this journey together, but they all have a certain shape of a landscape that we are walking together, right? And so one of the things that we do as service providers for you guys is to be able to see that landscape because we talk to more than one of you, right? you all are only walking together. Okay, so I'm so excited to introduce my three panelists tonight. Erica is the point person at Bridgewater Bank. If you knew Damon Alm, he's out. Erica's in. So she was also at the real estate panel that I was at this morning, tabling nonetheless. Actually, all of us were at that real estate panel at the Golden Valley Country Club this morning because we are committed, right, to the cannabis industry. Okay, all right. The next person, our AV guru, is also our insurance guru, Cory Lake. And do you know the beautiful woman on the end? Nicole Rash, zoning expert at Hellmuth & Johnson. She works with Carol Moss, if you know Carol Moss. And man, she is the go-to person in Minnesota for what cities and counties are doing now about zoning. Okay, so these are some of the people that I want to make sure to expose the Accelerator folks to, and so we're doing like a live, it's like a live podcast or something like that tonight, right? Where we're getting together and we're going to share insights with you about what's going on in the industry now. So without further ado, Nicole, can I start with you? Yeah. What are you helping clients solve right now? Oh. got this.
Okay. I don't really use a microphone, so I'm Nicole Rash. I'm a cannabis attorney at Hellmuth and Johnson. Just a little background before I get into it. I've been in Minnesota for about a year now. I originally started out in Washington State doing cannabis there as well. I basically do what I like to call anything sin. So I do cannabis, psilocybin, liquor, gambling. So anything that kind of falls in that realm is where you'll find me. But what I've been really helping people with, other than, obviously starting their business and helping them out with their formation agreements, stuff like that, is really zoning. As I'm sure everyone has experienced, local government has been quite difficult, as every city and county has been doing it differently across the board and trying to figure that out. So I've kind of become the zoning queen, although that's a name I've given myself, so it's not as cool, but we'll work on the naming part, okay? But I basically track over 80 cities and counties right now on where they're at and how it's going, how many registrations they have left. And then I also have what I like to call my naughty list, and they are the cities and counties that are what I believe are going beyond their jurisdiction. And so they're flagged red in my spreadsheet. And besides tracking everything, I help clients with their leases. I help with any kind of land use that's going to city council, trying to get their conditional use permits, stuff like that has been kind of what I do every day. And then I also do, once this kind of happens a little further along in your process, I do a lot of intellectual property for cannabis businesses, as that's quite interesting, being federally illegal. How do you actually register anything? So that's basically what I focus on. So yeah, that's a lot of what I do.
Okay, so do you want to tell us a story or a specific thing that you're helping with?
Yeah, a specific thing. Right now, no, you're so good. So I've been working with a few counties right now on both advising on actual ordinances, on trying, because there are actually a lot of cities out there that have not even started the process. So, which is wild, but I have also clients interested, so we got to start, moving along on how to actually write these. And so I've been helping out local governments on actually writing them or advising them. I'm also helping out with the state on potentially how to combat this issue, as this has been an ongoing thing. And then I also do a lot of conditional use permits. So I just got one in Steele County. They were great to work with for a cultivation site. And a lot of cities are going to require it, and it takes a longer than it should probably, just in terms of actually falling within the planning committee, because you start there. And then once they will have to either recommend or deny you to city council, and then city council will have their final say. So it's a little bit of a process, so I do a lot of that as well. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nicole. All right, so Cory, let's go back to you. What are you helping clients with right now?
Well, we help clients with everything on the insurance side, so seed to sale. Right now, it's a lot of general liability policies, lesser risks, and then any sort of build-out stuff, so builder's risk policies. So that's kind of where we're at, and the other thing that I help a lot with is just understanding your paperwork, contracts that you get. Not an attorney, so I can help you with the amount of stuff that I've read and understand, tell you if you're walking into a good lease or things that you should hand off to your attorney. Go, hey, you need to look at this stuff because it looks predatory or it's crazy or don't bother signing this. And then hopefully we can work through that to make sure that you guys are getting the right type of lease.
Yeah. So what about you, Erica? How are you? How long have you been at Bridgewater?
So I've been at Bridgewater for over a month now, but I've been in cannabis banking for over 5 years. I was on the West Coast, but I'm from Minnesota, so I get to be back home now and help our Minnesota cannabis community thrive. So I'm excited about that. One thing I've been working on is we're actually onboarding our first tribal account. So and that's for anybody, cannabis or otherwise. So I've been really excited to try to push our team and what they're able to do and find creative ways to serve cannabis from every aspect of Minnesota. So for me, that's been really fun, and figuring out all the compliance and extra stuff we have to do, but doing it in a way that is still making sure everybody has access to banking in Minnesota.
Awesome. I have another set of people to shout out at this juncture, which is, as we talk about sort of, I feel like we've gone through moments or chapters together, right, in the Minnesota cannabis industry. For a while we were talking about, can we sell THCA flower? Who sells THCA flower? What's going on? Right? Nobody's talked about that for ages, right? We totally forgot about THCA flower. What else? There's been so many little, okay, sorry. Okay, so where was I going with that? I was gonna say, so I think, yes, the next phase, thank you, is that the grants are coming online from Deed. Okay, I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited to share information with you guys about how to apply for those, about what those granting organizations are looking for. And also, we are also seeing exciting partners who are here with us who are part of Minnesota's ecosystem for other small businesses, right? Audie and I presented at Startup Week for the last 2 years, but otherwise those guys have not really been super excited about us, right? We've been trying. Now they're looking, okay? So I'm super excited to have Michelle here from Elevate Hennepin. She's awesome. She knows all these resources for entrepreneurs, okay? Some of which are more relevant for us than others, but man, we're setting up a whole small business, right? We have to get the back end right. We have to figure out how to do all the things that regular small businesses have to do. We just also have to do it in a highly regulated environment, okay? So excited. Okay, so also here is Jen from Connect Up. And Connect Up is committed to helping small entrepreneurs succeed by getting their back end right. Is that fair? Okay, all right. So these are the kind of people that are interested in us now. We're getting some momentum, right? Okay, so as we think about what's next for this industry, that's one of the things that I'm thinking about. What about you guys? What do you see as on the horizon? We can popcorn. You understand?
I felt like I had to grab it.
Okay, sure. Jeopardy, go.
Obviously, there's a lot going on. In what I kind of deal with, everyone's really focused on the real estate aspect, whether that's leasing or buying it. And I think the challenge that's going to come up is just kind of, where do we go from here? That's figuring out, how your systems are going to be running, who you should be talking to, how does the supply chain work. There's, with the cultivation right now, who are you going to get your supply from especially if you're starting as a retailer. So things like that to look forward to, I guess maybe, I don't know, understand that that's coming down the pipeline though. Now you have to go.
It's all good. You covered quite a bit though. So, something that I would say is finding your team is very, very important. And something that I didn't have a chance to speak to earlier, but being a part of the accelerator and then having a team of people, of professionals around you, something that I think people don't realize is that we're not just services for you. We are here to help you make sure that you're successful. Because at the end of the day, if you're successful, we get to be successful too. I want to help your business grow. These guys want to see your business grow as well. We're not here to just be an ancillary service. We are here to make sure that people are getting what they need when they need it. And we're also here to help you try to make good decisions and not make expensive mistakes. Something that I like to do with people is say, if I've made a $15,000 mistake, I can help you not make that or make it a $1,000 mistake instead. So just know that, especially for those of you that come to Rogue Isles a lot, there are so many people in this room that can help you with your problems or give you an answer to something that you might be wondering about. So don't be afraid to ask. We're all here to help.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that having the connected community is really important, especially in this industry. There are so many random obstacles you'll face, whether it's your payroll provider. I've gone through this where, Paychex was working with cannabis, and then a couple years ago they decided no, because their banking partner wouldn't let them do it. So then they had to shut down cannabis, and then how do you pay your employees, right? So, and they had been cannabis friendly up until that point. So that one was you're going to see stuff like that. And so if you have people you can call in that situation and get something set up with somebody else, even if you just call somebody and they're like, oh, talk to this company or talk to this person, having that connection and community is really important. I will say one thing that I see coming though is price fluctuation in the market right now, obviously. With limited supply, basic supply and demand takes into effect, and the price is going to be a lot higher. And then as more growers get online, that price is going to go down. So I would just, I've been working with business owners who are looking at their business plan and how do they create a financial model. I would say the ones that I get excited about seeing are the ones that are planning for that, and they have, here's what the price of flower is now, and here's what it's going to be, in the next year, and they're assuming that it's going to go down. So build your business model assuming the price will go down. If it goes up, great, or if it stays the same, then that's more profit to you, but make sure you're planning your business for the long term, that understand those prices will fluctuate, and build your models out accordingly. Yeah, that's the finance person in me. I can't help it.
That's terrific advice. Yes. Well, by the way, Mark Waller was on my little ad for tonight, and his kid is sick, so he's not here. But if you want to talk to somebody about how to structure for 280E, Mark Waller is a great person to talk to, as is Dave Woodback, who I then texted and said, do you want to be on stage at Rogue Isles? And he said, darn, I have a thing. So anyway, they're not here, but they are great people as well, and advisors to Accelerator with lots of 280E advice. Okay, now I want to hear from you guys. What questions do you have for this panel? Either sort of specific questions or industry questions, and then can somebody give me a time check, please? Because I thought we're almost at the hour.
6:31.
Oh man, really? Okay, I'm moving fast. We got time. All right, let's do this. I can do a lot in an hour. Okay. I thought I saw a question. No? Yes, Jen.
I'm curious what you make of the OCM's recent advice to municipalities about local ordinances. If you've had a chance to review it, is it good? Just your overall feel.
Jen, repeat the question.
Can you repeat the
Yes.
question before you answer it? Because she didn't have a microphone.
So the question is, the OCM recently released guidance that was advice what was guidance for municipalities. What's important about that, or what do we take from that?
Yes, if you're talking about the one in August 8th, I think is the most recent one. I've only had a chance to kind of skim it. However, the main thing I was looking at, where I feel like a lot of cities are not understanding, is kind of the actual process to register and actually get your license, right? And so, because of what's happening right now is that in any kind of city that is capping their retailer license, you should have your registration happen before the OCM zoning certificate, because if it happens after, basically it's a race to whoever can finish their build out first, and that's a huge financial gamble for everyone, right? And no other business has to go through that kind of hoop. So I was mainly looking at that, and when you look at its page, I know this because I cited it today, it's on page 12, and then page 24 and 25. They talk about a little bit of this process, and While they do highlight it, I personally think it could have been a little bit clearer because they use the words like may, and like while that is true, because a place like St. Paul that doesn't have a cap, you'll do the registration afterwards, but that doesn't matter because there's no cap to it. So that's why they have the word may, but I feel like it is quite confusing at the end of the day, especially for people that are not in the industry. And I have cities that quote this back to me, and I'm like, yes, but you need to make sure you have your registration first. So that's kind of my biggest battle with cities, other than the buffer aspect to it. But I think it could have been, this is a long-winded answer to say that I think it could have been clearer in my opinion. And I think that the chutes and ladders graph, or at least that's what I call it, where it shows you kind of from step 1 to 2 to 3, could be also a little bit clearer for people that are not in the industry.
So that's a great question. So can the accelerator, like the advisors and stuff that work within the accelerator program, are they open to maybe going back and helping facilitate some of those conversations between the business owner and like city officials, or however that needs to happen?
So the question was, is it part of the accelerator that they help you actually interface with city officials? It's a great idea, and I'm not saying no. So far, what we've done is empower people to talk to their cities themselves, and we've seen really good success with that. Actually, Nicole came and talked about what can cities do and not, and what's a conditional use permit, and then people asked questions. And then a member came back like 3 weeks later, was like, I followed Nicole's advice, I did the things she told me to do, I got the conditional use permit. It was terrific. It was textbook, like, how do we teach? Because you guys are smart people, right? Like, you just haven't done this before. So we can all work together to not make the same mistakes. And then we can keep moving forward.
I will add to that because I deal with cities a lot. My biggest advice with dealing with cities is be extremely friendly. Really, like, kill them with kindness. You flirt your way through it. Whatever you need to do to, show that you're interested.
Possibly donuts.
There are things that we can do to make it not adversarial, because at the end of the day, a lot of these people are just, they are staff or elected, and so they don't know the ins and outs of cannabis, and coming in really hard is not the best approach, and it's really just kind of an educational aspect. So you have to be your biggest advocate. Whether that is educating others or being a good advocate for the industry. So.
And I do think, we have been working on this for so long. We have to remember that we're still educating people. Right now, we're having to deal with city staff, but we are about to get to open our doors and see who comes through our doors. We have some ideas, right? With Can of Joy, we know who's coming through the doors already at Can of Joy, and that they're asking for flour, this often. But I feel like we have such an education opportunity, and we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that not everybody in Minnesota is thinking about cannabis all the time. I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Are you finding that a lot of your folks? Are you finding that a lot of your folks are wanting to also do the medical aspect, and how is those challenges? How are you navigating those challenges when they integrate?
Yeah, good question. It was, are you finding that your folks want to do medical as well, and are you helping them integrate that? Yeah, so from a policy perspective, right now in Minnesota it's really hard to do both adult use and medical in the same retail or cultivation license, and that's because we have what Blunt Strategies calls a bifurcated supply chain. Is there another word for it? I'm trying, but yes.
Not enough. There's not enough.
Well, that's also a problem. I agree. But the policy issue here is that in order to, for instance, sell medical cannabis, then it needs to be grown separately as medical cannabis and entered into metrics separately as medical cannabis, and then sold separately. as medical cannabis, right? And so you essentially have to run it as a parallel business, which of course increases your costs a lot, right? So, I mean, I think the answer to your question is people do want to participate in the medical market. A lot of people in this room have a real heart for the power of cannabis for medical and are committed to trying to create high quality products. But if they have to set up a whole nother grow situation to do so, probably not going to be able to do that out of the gate, right? So there are policy problems, there are policy solutions, right? There are a lot of people that are our allies talking to OCM about this. OCM's also concerned about it. They would also like us to be able to participate in the medical market. I've seen some recommendations. It's going to have to go to the legislature next spring, but my hope is that maybe it would get fixed at that time. Yeah.
So it has to be fixed at the legislature level.
That's correct. It has to be fixed by the legislature, unfortunately. Yes. One of the things we're always doing as attorneys is, okay, we don't like this rule or this statute, or it's not clear or it doesn't work. Would this require a legislative fix? Would this require an OCM fix? Or would this require like an OCM like interpretation, right? And then we talk about it. And yeah, so anyway, so another thing that definitely doing is giving OCM feedback about rules that don't work, about things that we would like to see in their legislative proposals. So one of the things that's also on my radar is that they're excited to think about on-site consumption and trying to improve those rules and come out with a separate license or whatever. And so folks who are interested in helping think through that from a policy perspective, hit me up because that's something that OCM has asked me to bring people into the room that are interested in thinking about that. Okay. Did you have a question? I saw, yeah, no? I mean, either way, man. Glad you're here. Okay, all right. What else do you guys want to talk about? What else is on your mind? There's a significant tension here, or not a significant, I don't know. It's like 15% of you that I've never met before, and I'm super interested who you are. Audie.
Actually, can you do a poll of like who's a micro, who's a meso?
Great idea. Okay, who is working towards your micro license? All right. Who is working towards any other license? All right, let's break that up. Meso? Delivery? Retail? Nice. Good. Okay, fun smattering. You want to know anything else, Audie? Yeah, Audie wants to know who's going to sign up with Audie for him to deliver their product, and that's cool, that's fair. Okay, sir.
I got a question on the municipal state legislature.
Okay.
And you don't have to say it if you don't want to, but what party is for this? One party says, oh God, this scares the hell out of me. Because seemingly a lot of people are, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Then you got the other people who understand why we're here, why we have medical marijuana, why it works for all sorts of people. How do we get that down? And what side should we be voting for to get this done? Because right now we're at 50-50 pretty much in Minnesota.
Well, the good news is that we have passed cannabis in Minnesota. We were the 23rd state to legalize. Yes, with HF 100, which a number of people in this room testified for and fought for. We have been doing this for a while, right? So to your political party question, I will say that the Democrats had a version of HF 100 on the floor for, I think, 2 years that the Republicans would not allow a vote on. And then when the Democrats took back control of the Minnesota Senate, then they had the political power to get HF 100 across the finish line. But at this point, I don't think we're in a us versus them Republican-Democrat thing with cannabis. Like, thank God, like, can we do that somewhere, right?
I'm just saying that you say there's still a lot of hoops. Why are there hoops if there's no problem? I mean, is it city to city? Is it state?
Okay.
Is it who's holding everything back? why, the demand is crazy. We all know that.
It is.
So who's holding everything? Who's got the brakes on?
Okay, let me challenge some of your underlying assumptions there a little bit, just I think. So in Ohio was the 24th state to legalize. And they opened their market significantly faster than we did. But do you know how? Do you know how they got open? They told the medical companies, you can now sell to everybody that's 21 plus. Congratulations. Would any of us have had any chance in Ohio? No. Okay? So Minnesota's taking longer because instead of just handing the market to the medical companies, they took all this time to set up a new agency, the Office of Cannabis Management, which had like one freaking employee for from the, it's taken a while, right, to set up an agency. That agency has to promulgate rules, put out applications, receive applications, tell people their applications are deficient, right? Like, it's been a process. But I think, and this is me being like a law professor kind of, I think that's good. I think this is like democratic small d action of us creating an industry together. It's painful. There's lots of traps, there's lots of moments of, oh shit, we should have done this first. I guess, right? But we're moving forward.
Thank you for all you guys hard work, because I'll tell you what, I would have pulled out every hair in my head to try and get this thing going. You guys did an amazing job. So yeah, Ohio, I didn't know that. That's great information. We do not want to do that. That would be the dumbest thing ever.
Right, and the medical companies are chomping at the bit, you guys. Yeah, the very nice lawyer who was on the panel with us this morning represents some big MSOs excited to get into Minnesota, and I was trying to get a little info out of him backstage. Yeah. How's it going? Who are you talking to?
That's awesome. Okay.
You're welcome. Okay, Dana, did I see you want to say
A
something?
lot of education, you hear them say they're having to teach you all the cities, councils, things like this, places that they're educating the people that are forming this for us is a big part of it. I don't think it's Republican, Democrat, it's literally educating people that don't partake, don't know, don't use, aren't in the industry, don't know about it, and they're having to be in positions of giving us license permits, things like that, allowing us in their cities and counties. That's what we're really held up by. My understanding is people that aren't educated that are in position of power over us right now, but they don't know what they're doing.
Right, exactly. Everybody, there's a lot of people at my age that are scared. They're like, this is going to bring us down the wrong way, and I'm going to
Yeah, well, anybody...
Talk to a kid with MS. How do you work for him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm in this industry, is that I had a kid who, as a teenager, developed a medical issue, and medical cannabis is what gave them their life back. It was incredible. From the very first dose, we were like, oh good, okay. Now we have to go through this whole search of figuring out, what's the delivery method and a type that is the best, but clearly cannabis is helpful, right? And so I want to make sure as we move forward to make sure that the medical market continues to be served especially for those under 21 folks. They still deserve to have good medicine.
Because they can't access the adult market.
Exactly, because they can't access the adult market. Yeah. All right, I got a question from Angelique, the editor of Bloom Magazine, joining us from Chicago, Illinois.
This is a great topic, and I'm coming from a slightly more mature market where we have forgotten about our medical patients' needs. And so when we're talking about a bifurcated system, Jen, can you bring me up to date on the statute? Can adult reps sell to medical patients at a no tax discount?
No. That's the totally bifurcated system. Oh, yeah, fair. Okay.
So as an alternative, would micros, mesos, retailers be willing to offer that discount off retail to make sure that medical patients have access to full cultivation and home stores, because you'll see your medical market diminish in terms of choices for patients?
Yeah. So Angelique is from Illinois, and so she's sharing with us some of some of the structure that we're seeing in Illinois where patients can buy from adult use, but if they're part of the medical program, then they can buy tax-free. And I have also seen that in Colorado. It's not a bad system. That is not the system that we legally have in Minnesota right now.
And not our system either, but retailers will offer that differential discount to get medical patients who walk in the door, so that total cost out the door is the same as them going to a medical.
Yeah, no, the totally bifurcated supply chain is really problematic. So hopefully we'll make some movement on that, and then maybe next year we'll be talking about, okay, so you guys have a retail, but you want to add a medical. Here's what we did in the legislature, right? Like we're gonna be here, okay? So when I talk about the accelerator, part of it is I don't know what's gonna happen next. I have guesses, right? But like I don't know what's gonna happen next, both in Minnesota cannabis and also just in general, right? But that I will be here walking with you. Right? That's why I write the newsletter. That's why I show up on the accelerator every Tuesday at noon. Like, we're gonna figure this out. And we're gonna beat the odds because it's bad news for the small guys, you guys, across the nation. 80% failure rate for small cannabis entrepreneurs, right? And so how do we beat those odds? I think we beat those odds by educating ourselves and by not having sharp elbows and sharing information and sharing resources to reduce costs.
Question off that. What is the need for executive presence, leveling up in that, executive planning, just leadership in general around this? Where do you see the need to help that not burn out like that?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'm not sure how to summarize it. What do I see as far as the need for people to level up into executive presence as they become leaders of large businesses? Is that kind of, right?
Aiming something out in front of you.
Exactly. I have been thinking about that too, right? Because congratulations, Dana, right? You are now going to have employees, right? Like we got to figure all that stuff out. We need to get you an employee handbook. We need to make sure that you're hiring and firing in compliance with state law, right? Bob, you and I already had to go through that 2 years ago because Bob owns a hemp-derived store, okay? That was painful, okay? But now we have a handbook, right? We know what we're doing, okay? We are all going to be doing this again, right? Soon you guys are going to be in a position of hiring general managers for, $60,000, $80,000 a year, right? Doesn't that feel weird? Like we've all just been like scrappy little builder guys for a while, but it's getting real. We're gonna start paying people real money. We're gonna start ordering things for big money, and we're gonna start selling them for that big money also. So it's coming. Okay.
Yeah, I will say just something to that point. Just from my experience, some of the best executives I've seen in cannabis companies, they started as just, bud tenders or trimmers, and then they worked their way up, and they're like amazing growers now, or they're amazing store managers. So I would say, especially in Minnesota, there's not going to be a huge talent base for you to scout from. So look for people who have a propensity to learn and who have a lot of passion for the plant and what they're doing. Those things are going to go a long way in terms of building your business, and invest in those people, retain and develop those people. That'll make a long way. I also wanted to say one thing about the MSOs coming into the space. We actually, in our cannabis banking policy, do not bank people who are based outside of Minnesota. So I just had to turn one down this week, and I was like, oh wow, it kind of feels good to actually have this in our policy. So we're 100% supporting the Minnesota craft cannabis movement here. So that's, for us, we're a Minnesota bank. We want to support Minnesotans, not the outsiders coming in.
Woo. Thank you, Erica. And Bridgewater has shown such leadership in this area. It's just terrific. Dana.
What are you seeing for types of lending that you guys are offering now that people are getting approved for?
Yes, so the question is, what kinds of lending are you doing at Bridgewater?
Yeah, so Bridgewater, our bread and butter is real estate lending. So we have done some real estate deals that are related to cannabis. We've done some lines of credit, but there's personal guarantees attached. It's just like any brand new business. You know, you don't have any revenue, we don't know when you're gonna have revenue, it makes it hard. You know, as that changes and revenue starts coming in, we're gonna be able to do a lot more. But, you know, we've seen people who are doing home equity lines, like we're happy to do that, and we know that they're going to cannabis, we're fine with that. You know, we look at everything case by case, so we'll look at any deal. We try to see if there's a way we can make it work. We have a credit team that we try to figure out ways to make it work. If there's another business, if there's property, obviously that's easier to attach something to. So for us, you know, we're willing to look at any deal, and if we can make it work, we're happy to do it. If it doesn't work, then, you know, at least we tried. So, yeah.
I don't know if this is the right place for it, but I've heard through the grapevine that cities are starting to run out of licenses, like registrations for that city. Is there any truth to that? And what can we do to get our spot in the city that we want?
I was the perfect person for that question. Okay,
Alright.
let me repeat the question first,
Yes.
unless you want to do it.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Question was, I'm hearing rumors that cities are starting to run out of their, registrations. Is that true? How can we make sure to not get outpaced?
The answer to that question is yes. There are a lot of cities and counties that have already filled up those spots. A few include Olmsted County, just finished up they're doing a lottery. So they haven't actually done at least the retailer lottery aspect of it, but the actual applications have closed. I know that like cities like Lakeville, they've already filled up. So another challenge on top of everything is not only tracking all of this, but knowing when that city has finished, their registration process. So I think the best way to combat that is to really be diligent right now and start talking to your local government and start creating those connections and seeing where they're at in the process. I suggest also, maybe I'm a little type A, but I suggest having a spreadsheet of where you're looking at and what you're doing, like in terms of like what are their ordinances, how many do they have left, what are their deadlines. Like Fergus Falls is going to have their deadline closing in a week. So thinking about that and being proactive, I think is going to be the best way to have that.
There's only 22 licenses out. How are they registering people that don't have a license?
Yes, so the registration process usually will have you actually do your pre-approval license, and that is because if you don't do it that way, you have to complete your full build-out for cities that are capped. So they will most likely, cities should be at least doing the registration process first. Usually it's just about a page or two about you, your company, X, Y, and Z. And then once you get approved there, you continue on your build out. You go through a SELA and the OCM zoning certificate. That goes back to the local government, who then gives you the thumbs up. And then you finish up and you should be done within, I can't remember, like 90 days from when they say yes. So that is what it should happen. However, it doesn't always happen in that way, as I've been finding out. So it's just a little bit of a battle of, actually figuring that out. So think about location, think about where you want to be. These are all business decisions in terms of whether you want to be in a city that's capped or not. There's advantages to both, where your location is, X, Y, and Z. So these are things to start thinking about and start developing those relationships.
And just to add a layer to that, I mean, there's some folks in this room that aren't ready to secure property because they need to raise money first, right? So they're not able to go around and start working on the property piece. Instead, they're working on finding investors or grants, and so that's certainly a big piece of what's going to happen next as well.
So you do need a location to register.
Correct. Actually, I defer to Nicole.
but usually you will have a letter of intent. Please use a letter of intent. This is my second big advice. We love letter of intents. You'll basically
With
give
like
it
a
to
landlord. A
with
letter
a
of intent with a
landlord, right? Basically saying I would love to rent from you, and here are the terms that we're thinking about, and it kind of takes out the negotiation later, which will be more cost effective for you in the long run, because a lot of those kind of pre-negotiations you can do without me, and then once they need to be more finalized, X, Y, and Z, you bring me on, but a lot of the negotiations are already done. And so that really helps you to save more money. But yes, you use a letter of intent with your registration, and usually the city says, yes, that's zoned correctly, come back to me with all your building permits, and we kind of go from there.
All right, so I have been warned that it's almost the top of the hour, which is time to switch into upcoming events. Hi! Okay. For any of you that are in the hemp-derived THC industry, or love people who are, and are wondering what's the deal with hemp-derived THC registrations coming up hot in October, I got Elliot Ginsberg to agree to do a free webinar with me. So that's on Thursday, September 18th. Look for the registration link in the newsletter. We're gonna try to demystify that stuff. I am promised infographics. You know I love infographics. Okay, then I want to bring Jen up to talk about Connect Up, because that is Thursday, September 25th.
Trying not to knock over the water glasses there. Hi, I'm Jen. I'm with Connect Up Institute. We are a nonprofit, and our mission is to help entrepreneurs build a better relationship with money, operations, and market strategy. That's our tagline. We help folks who are in a growth phase, as many of you are ramping up, and we're really about the back office. We help entrepreneurs from any industry, and we're really excited about the cannabis industry. This is a huge opportunity, especially for entrepreneurs who are central to our mission, entrepreneurs from underestimated communities. This is such an exciting time, and if there's one piece of advice that I think we would give you from Connect Up Institute, keep coming to events like this, keep reaching out for resources from these wonderful folks here in the room. Also a shout out to Elevate Hennepin, Talk to a Show. Elevate Hennepin has amazing resources if you live or are planning even on putting your business in Hennepin County. It's incredible. I've got a couple of flyers up here. Again, our event is happening Thursday, September 25th from 9 to 6. We would love to see you there, you know, get your business on, and then head on over to the Legacy Cup afterwards and have some fun. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask me, but thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for being here, Jen. I'm excited for you guys' summit. It has a nice mix of people that I know, that you probably know, as well as a bunch of people that I've never met before. So that's going to be fun too. Like, we're expanding our circles, we're moving in new rooms. Okay, then after that, yes, the Legacy Cup is Saturday, September 27th. A lot of us are vending, all of us should go. The night before is the industry night. That has always been key networking time for me, because that's when we as business owners are actually hanging around talking to each other instead of working Legacy Cup. Consider that as well. Okay, anything else? Gislin?
The Guild is doing the education panels at the Legacy Cup.
Oh, the Guild is doing the education panels at the Legacy Cup. I love that. Okay. Anybody have anything else to shout out? Something else coming up? Next Wednesday in Argyles, the Guild's doing something, probably.
We are doing something.
Yeah, Alicia's got something. All right, Alicia, tell us.
Minnesota Cannabis College will also be at the Legacy Cup. And I have this sensory soiree happening October 7th. It's burlesque, dinner, and so much more.
Awesome. So if you guys ever have events that you want to help plug, send them to me, because I get stuff out in the newsletter like this. Really trying to be a help for folks. If you're not on my newsletter, let's fix that. Hit Kesserai up and we'll get you on there. All right.
Oh wait.
Thank you so much.
This is your QR code.
Yes. So if you are interested in applying for the accelerator, Please click through to that QR code. Tessa and I are excited to talk to the people who send their info in there this month.
Can you sign up for the newsletter on this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an application fee?
There is no application fee, and it is going to be easy. You just have to reach out. It's going to be fun. But you do have to do so by September 30th to get into the next cohort, which I'm going to announce to the press and make a big deal of. Okay? So I would love to have you, an awesome member of that cohort. Okay, let's thank our awesome panel. Thank you so much. Yay. All right, props to y'all as well. Talk to you later.